And welcome to Nutrition Therapy by Lucy. This is a channel where we talk about food, good nutrition, and health. Thank you for your support, for subscribing to this channel, for commenting, liking, watching my videos. I am so grateful. So if you are here for the first time, please consider on hitting that subscribe button, the red button. So today I want us to discuss about hypertension, how you can manage high blood pressure with the right diet. If you are diagnosed with hypertension, it's always important to manage the condition with medication and dietary modification, because uncontrolled hypertension can lead to a range of cardiovascular diseases, the CVDs, and even other diseases. Sometimes hypertension is like a foundation for other conditions. So it's always important to manage the condition. So anytime you visit a doctor, your physician, your cardiologist, or even your nutritionist, they will always recommend DASH diet or the dietary approach to stop hypertension. So today I want us to understand what does the DASH diet entail and what does it recommend. DASH diet is the healthiest way of eating because the diet recommends you eating a variety of fruits, vegetables, and low-fat dairy products. Like I always recommend, eat a rainbow of vegetables. You can actually mix more than 3 different types of vegetables of different colors, because when you eat different colors of vegetables, that means each color represents a unique vegetable. So it's always to be diverse on how you choose your vegetables. Don't eat just one type of vegetables. Be diverse, because even in the same food group, each food gives different nutrients. And also it's very important to consume a low-fat dairy product. For example, skimmed milk. When you boil your milk, you can always remove the butterfat content of the boiled milk. So eat a variety of vegetables. Another thing that the DASH diet recommends is you cutting back on high-fat foods. Cutting back on the saturated fats. Saturated fats are those that raises the LDL, that causes the bad cholesterol, that raises the bad cholesterol in our body. And also cutting back on the cholesterol and the trans fats. Also, the diet recommends eating more of the whole grains. Whole grains, these are your cereals, the legumes, your complex carbohydrates, all those. It recommends you eating whole grains. And also it recommends limiting sodium intake, your sugary drinks, all those. So I want to take you through on how you can cut back on the sodium, and also on how you can cut back or you can limit the cholesterol and trans fat intake. When it comes to hypertension and diet, sodium is the major concern. And the main source of sodium is the table salt. Your salt, ile chumvi unatumia kupikia chakula, is a major concern, because what sodium does, it draws water to itself. It makes the body to retain more water. And this gives your heart stress and the blood vessels, increasing the blood pressure. And to some people, this can lead to high blood pressure or the hypertension. Yes, sodium is good. We need it for the fluid balance, to maintain the blood volume and blood pressure, but excess of it can predispose or can cause hypertension. So, your body needs only a 1/4 teaspoon of salt every day. This amount, you can imagine a 1/4 teaspoon in what we usually eat. Actually, an average person eats almost 5 or more teaspoons of salt, which is about 20 times of what the body requires. And I have said your body requires only a 1/4 teaspoon of salt every day. And you can imagine chenye unawekanga. So it's always important to watch your salt intake. Actually, it's always a major concern. Ukienda kwa daktari, they always say, watch your salt intake. Usikule chumvi mingi. When you've already cooked your food, don't add salt on already cooked food. So salt is the major concern when it comes to hypertension. And also it's always good to remember that sodium is not only found, sodium is naturally found in some foods, like your bacon, your sausages, your smokies, all those. Sodium is present in them. And also most of the fast foods, they are very high in sodium. So it's always good to watch whatever you are eating, because too much of this sodium, of the table salt, like I've said, it can cause your blood pressure to raise. And in some cases, it causes the fluid retention, which can lead to swelling of your arms, legs, feet, and causes other health conditions, the swelling, the edema. So it's always good to watch your sodium or your salt intake. So I'm going to give you guidelines on how you can cut back your sodium or your salt intake. These are the general guidelines that you can use to cut back on salt or the sodium intake. The first one is eliminate salty foods. Your sausages, your bacon, your ham, all those, they are naturally high in sodium. You don't have to eat them. If you can't completely eliminate them, at least limit their consumption. But in hypertension, I will not recommend limiting, but eliminating, because at the end of it all, your blood pressure or your health matters more than those sausages and bacons. And also use little of the table salt when cooking your food. And after cooking your food, don't add salt to already cooked food. So eliminate the salty foods and also use little salt while cooking. Another way of cutting back the sodium or the salt is seasoning your foods with natural spices. You can use the cinnamon, the ginger, the garlic, all those natural spices, because one reason that we always put too much of the salt is to bring that flavor and for the foods to be tasty. But once you have the natural spices, you realize that you need less of the salt. So using natural spices is one hack of eliminating or reducing how you use your salt. Another way of cutting back of the salt is always reading the food ingredients before buying. When you go to the supermarket and you want to buy any product, it's always good to read the ingredients and choose that has less than 400 milligrams of sodium. Any food product that has more than 400 milligrams is high in sodium, and for hypertension that is not recommended. So read the food ingredients of any product that you are buying. Another thing that you can do is to choose low sodium foods. They are those that contain 140 milligrams of sodium per serving. You can always read the food ingredient of the product that you are buying. And also avoid the roasted and salted nuts. They are always written roasted or salted nuts. You can go for the pure one that has not been roasted or the one that has not been salted. And that way you'll be able to control the overall sodium or salt intake in your food. The recommendation of the DASH diet is cutting back on high fat foods, cholesterol, saturated fats, and trans fats. And these are some of the ways that you can use to cut back on all those. First, limit the total intake of fats and oils. Again, use little oil while cooking, in your salad dressing, and always make sure that you use healthy oils. For example, you can use the vegetable oil, like the canola or the extra virgin oil. But also, if you're using the vegetable oil that are readily available in our market, also those ones, use them in moderation, because yes, they could be liquid or oil, but that does not mean that excess consumption of them is good. So use little oil when you're cooking, and also when making your salad dress. Also, another thing is avoid high fat processed foods. Those fast foods that, or I call them the junk foods. Always limit their consumption, especially those ones that are very high in fat. Another way of cutting back on the cholesterol is avoiding the deep fried foods. You can always do the shallow frying, but try to limit or avoid the deep fried food. These are the mandazis, the chipos, all those. They are not good for your heart. Another way of cutting back on the cholesterol is avoiding products with trans fatty acids. And also you choose low fat dairy product. Like I have said, you can go for the skimmed milk, and also after boiling your milk, you can remove the butter fat that forms when the milk has cooled. You can remove the butter fat, and also go for the skimmed milk, and you can choose to limit the trans fatty acid. The trans fats are those fats that are formed through hydrogenation. And in that hydrogenation process, the hydrogen has always a single bond, which is not good for your heart. So limit the intake of the trans fats. Choose products that are written not hydrogenated. And also, if you are choosing all those other products, use them in moderation. Another way of cutting back on the cholesterol, the saturated fats, and trans fats is trimming any visible fat in red meat. Yes, choose the lean meat. Don't go for the fatty meat. But also, if you choose the lean meat and you see any fat, it's always good to trim the fat in it, because that fat is saturated. And like I have said, the saturated fats, they are those that raises the LDL, or the low density lipoproteins, which is not healthy in our heart because it raises the bad cholesterol, and this can cause a range of cardiovascular diseases. So choose lean meat, trim any visible fat, and in poultry you can always trim the skin before cooking it. After umetayadisha kuku wako, you can remove the skin. I know it's somehow sweet, but that's where the cholesterol is stored. You can always remove the skin of the poultry before cooking it. That's the DASH diet, or the dietary approach to stop hypertension. Four major points to keep in mind. Eat more of the fruits, vegetables, cut back on high cholesterol, saturated and fatty acids, eat more of the whole grains, and cut back on sodium, the sugary drinks, and overall fat intake. And also you can go for a high potassium diet, but this is different if you are managing more than two conditions, like in cases of maybe kidney or the renal conditions, the potassium is a major concern. But if you are managing only the hypertension, you can go for a high potassium diet, because potassium helps in elimination of excess sodium in your body. So that's all for now. I hope you've learned something about hypertension. I know you can help someone now. And let me know what you think about this on the comment section. Also remember to give this video a like, share, and also turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upload that I make. And also, very important, please subscribe to this channel for more nutrition tips, education, and counseling. Bye bye.